Hey, this is Barack Lemires, and in this video I'm going to talk about the character data types in C and also how to print them using printf along with their associated format specifiers. Okay, so we've looked at how to use ones and zeros to encode integers, and we've looked at how to use ones and zeros to encode real numbers called floating points using the floating point approach. And so now what we want to do is use ones and zeros to encode letters. Okay, so we have a coding approach that's called the American Standard Code for Information Interchange, which is called ASCII. Okay, so ASCII is an 8-bit code in which every symbol within the American English language is assigned a unique code. And so C provides a data type called char, C-H-A-R, to support ASCII characters. All right. So if you think about it, a char is 1 byte, and every symbol that we have is given a unique code. All right. The way that you assign to a char or initialize to a char is using single quotes. So this is a table that shows all of the different codes in here, and this is the symbol, and then this is kind of a description, and then this is its hex code. So what's interesting about this, or when you first see this for the first time, it's like the letters are just symbols, they're just drawings, right? So hex code 41 will be drawn as a capital A, and then hex code, if you wanted to go down here and look at like a lowercase a, it would have a hex code of 61. So the hex codes are the binary bits that are actually in memory when you initialize it with this, and then when you go to do a printf, this is the symbol that will be drawn. Now, even the numbers are nothing more than symbols the way that they're drawn. So for example, 0 is a little circle, but it has a hex code of 30. And 1 is also just a drawing of a symbol, and it has a hex code of 31. So like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, they're not mapped to hex codes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're mapped to other unique hex codes because they're just nothing more than a symbol. Not every location of all 256 spots in the ASCII code table are assigned a symbol because we got them all covered and there's actually extra spaces. So you can use other codes in ASCII to do stuff like represent the end of a text or represent a backspace, a tab, a line feed, or even the null character or the @ symbol, okay? Or any of these things. So some of them are reserved for like special uses, okay? All right, let's code along and see how this works. So I'm over here, I'm on the ASCII 109 server. Take a look at my present working directory, and let's take a look at what's in here. Let's go ahead and go into our mod 03 code along folder, and let's go ahead and create a new file that's called printing cars. Okay, so let me move this little buddy over here. I'll go vim printing cars.c, and here I am. So I'm in Vim, I've created my file. I'm gonna go ahead and put my comment header. So I go into insert mode and I do this, playing with cars. Okay, so now let's make the shell for our main program. So I'm gonna do in the preprocessor section, I do pound include, and I'm gonna bring in the standard IO header file that has the printf function in it. And then I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna create the shell of my main. So I go int main void, open curly, come down here, go return 0, and then close curly, and now let's save it. So I go ahead and hit escape. I do colon to go into command mode, and I hit W for save. I now have my code, and now let's come in here and let's code something up. So you do this by saying keyword char, and that turns green, and then you basically just say, give it a name. Let's go var5, and then you can initialize it by putting single quotes around it. So right there, I have created a character. Okay, now let's take a look at how you'd print it. So what I'm going to do is let's come down here and actually let's put like CSCI. Okay, I'm going to do in Vim, I'm going to go escape mode, hit escape to go into normal, and I'm going to do YY, and that has now copied this line, and now I'm going to go P for pay or put or paste, and then I'm going to go P, okay, and then I can come over here and then I can edit. Okay, so that's like a line copy and paste. So I'm gonna go 6, 7, 8, come over here, and I'm gonna go C, S, C, I. So I got those guys. Okay. All right. Now let's look at the print. So what I do is I'm going to come in here and I do printf, and I am going to say var 5 holds in ASCII, and I'm going to put the format specifier of C. So %C. So I go %C. All right. And then I close it up and I do var 5 and I'm done. Okay, so let's run that and then we'll start playing around with it a little bit. So I'm down here in my second window here, and where am I at? Present working directory. Okay, so I'm going to change it to my mod03 folder where I'm working. Take a look at what I got, and here's my printing cars. Okay, so let's do gcc printing cars and direct the output to printing cars, and I'm good. Okay, so life is good. So I do ls. There's my printing cars. Where is it? Oh, gee, I did print car. Well, that's what I wanted, right? Printing cars. I didn't put the S on there. So let me do this. I'm going to up arrow. I'm going to do S. All right, now I'm going to do ls, and I've got 2 executables. So let's clean this up. We're getting out of hand here. So I have this print car and print cars. I want it to be printing cars. So let me remove this. I'm going to go remove print car and remove print cars. And then I got a little confused because my line wrapped around there. Let's do this. I'm going to go GCC printing cars, and then I'm going to do this. I'm going to say printing cars. Good. Now I do ls, and I'm going to run now. So I go semicolon, meaning look in this directory, and I say printing cars. And lo and behold, I had var5 holds ASCII C. All right, life is good. I mean, it looks horrible, but let's go format it now. Okay, so let's come in here and let's do like, all right, I'm going to do a return afterwards, and then to align it, let's do like a tab. So if I do an escape character T, that means tab. I do my format specifier for a car, which is %C, and then I do an escape character N, that means line return. Let's see how clean that makes it look. So I come down here and I compile it, then I run it, and oh baby, it's looking pretty nice. All right, now here's what's interesting about this. If you wanted to print this in another format, you can, because remember, all this is a bit of information. So I can come in here, let me copy this line. So I'm gonna hit escape, I'm gonna do YY, and then hit P, and then hit P again. And I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna say, let's print this in decimal. So I'm gonna say decimal, and then let's do this one, let's print it in hex. And then I'm gonna come over here, and I'm just gonna leave it just like, no, I'm gonna change the format specifier to D, and then I'm going to change this one to, let's go X. Okay. And then I go ahead and I look at it. So I GCC it and I print it. And let me clear this and bring it up a little bit so it's easier to see. So you got C. Okay, that makes sense. Capital C. 67. All right, that's the decimal code for it. And then you got 43 is the hex code. Let's see if that's right. Let's go back to our table. 43. So here's capital C is 43. One thing with hex though is that a lot of times you want to have it actually have the 0x in front of it. That's just text. So if I came in here, if I wanted it to look like 0x43, I'd have to actually put 0x as text. So I save that. I go ahead and compile it, go ahead and run it. Boom. Life is good. All right, so that's it. You can't really make this hard. Okay, now here's what kind of stinks about old cars. It only holds 1 letter. So if I wanted to print this whole thing, CSCI on 1 line, I'd have to actually go like this. I'd have to say printf, and then I am enrolled in, and I would literally do this. I would go %C, 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 and then I would go return, done, and then I'd do var 5, var 6, var 7, var 8, and then I'd close it out. Let me move this over just a little bit, and we'll save it, and then we'll come down here and run this, and it's like, oh man, I am enrolled in CSCI, and then it's like, well, the name of the course is actually CSCI 109, so let me go YYP109. Okay, so now I'm going to do this. I'm going to go, let's call it var 9, 10, var 11, and then let's put in here the symbol Actually, let's do this. Let's go space, and then we'll go 1, and then we'll go 0, and then YYP, and I go, let's make this 9. Okay, so I'm gonna, oh, let me put that right there. Okay, so now what I got is you can actually have a character or a variable that holds the space code. And it's like, interesting. So I got space 109. So now if I wanted to write all that out, I would actually come in here and I would have to put 4 more format specifiers. So I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'd come over here and I'd have to put all these on here. So let me come all the way over here. And now I need var 9, var 10, var 11, var 12. Save it, come down here, run it, print it, and look at it. I am enrolled in CSCI 109. Let me clear that and run it one more time so you can see it. I am enrolled in CSCI 109. And now, if you wanted to know what the hex codes were, you could do this exact same thing, but just print it in hex, right? So you could go YYP, and then instead of printing the whole thing in characters, you just basically go print it in hex, 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 print it in hex. Okay. I was like, okay, why are you doing that? It's just because it's fun. So clear it up. Go ahead and compile it. Go ahead and run it. And it's like, oh, what a mess. It's all these letters in there. And it's like, oh, how do I make it pretty? And you have to come in here and you'd be like, okay, I'm just going to put space, 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 save it, come down here, compile it, run it. And it's like, oh, 4353434920, which is the space. 313039. Is that really what the codes are? I come back here. That is indeed what they are. So I had pulled that later. So it's like 435343. And it's like, oh man, this is awesome. It works. And so that is characters. All right. So you did it. Nice work.